me Jenny, and it's time for another crafting Sunday video, and I'm just going to try and get a lot done today, so it's not going to be very interesting. It's mostly just going to be me sat by a sewing machine doing things, but I will talk you through what I'm doing, so at least I'm doing something for you guys. So first of all, I'm mostly doing just minor alterations today, and we're taking a couple of seams. There's a couple of things that I've slightly stretched over time and I really like and I want to keep, but they're slightly too big for me at the moment. So I'm going to just take in the seams, so then if I do gain weight or want to pass it back on to someone in the future or give it to charity, I can just undo the tacking, and then it's done, and in the meantime I can wear it and it actually fits. So I've got a couple of items like that. So first of all, I'm going to start on the top of my pile with this skirt. It's a really nice kind of floaty waist skirt, but it is slightly too big. It slips down a little bit. Obviously it's a waist skirt, so I'm meant to wear it on my waist, and it kind of drops down to about just above my hips, just below my waist, so it's like neither of the good things. It can either be on the hips or on the waist, and it's somewhere in the middle. So I'm just going to, if I flip it inside out, what I should probably do is redo the elastic on the back and like tighten that, because that would probably be the easiest way to keep the natural form of the skirt. But to be honest, I'm lazy when it comes to taking in seams, so the other technique that I would have to do would be to unpick the seam on the side and then refill, like feed the seam inside itself, so it's like extra, like it's way too complicated for me. I'm going to do the really simple technique, which is on the side I'm going to make a little fold and then sew it flat. So on the outside it's just going to have a little bit of a fold on the outside, and then it's going to just have an extra seam on the inside, and I'm going to follow that seam all the way down, and yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, woo! So there we go. I'm sure you can't really see it on this camera, which is it's a shame because I'm doing long form. It's easier for me to use my web camera, but you can't really see the details of my work. It's not the cleanest job I've ever done. In fact, it's pretty damn messy, but it will serve the purpose, which is that now the skirt is about I don't know, 5-6 centimeters smaller on the waist, and is swishy enough on the bottom that kind of hides my bad seam work. And yeah, it's wide stitches, so if, as I said, I don't like it, or I've done a really bad job, then I can unpick and redo. It's just a temporary. This one's just a temporary one to see whether or not it works. It does work as a skirt in its own right without this adjustment, but hopefully this adjustment will just make it sit slightly nicer on my waist. Let's have a quick look. Well, obviously this is not the best top to wear with this skirt. It is not the right one, and I'm wearing shorts underneath, so it looks a bit weird, but that is a lot better generally. It actually is on my waist rather than kind of sinking a little bit. One job done. Okay, well this is going to be almost identical a job, but with a top instead of a skirt. I'm just going to take in the seams on the side. I really like this top. I wear it quite a lot, but it is just a little bit too baggy on me. I think it's just, it did fit when I first bought it. I don't think I've lost any weight since I bought it, so I think it just has stretched a little bit. So I'm just going to quickly whip down the seams and just tighten it a little bit, and that's that one done. It's actually a much cleaner job than the skirt. I used a zigzag stitch which helped with the warping, and yeah, it was just following all the seams, and it's just like a couple of centimeters tighter, which is nice, so it shouldn't gape so much. I was having problems with this top kind of slipping at the front, which was not an attractive look, but now it should just be that little bit more robust and flattering. Fingers crossed. Dress. I've worn this actually a reasonable amount throughout my videos. It's a dress that I've had for a long time. And the thing I'm repairing on this is, I don't think you can really see, but the straps are actually maybe, I don't know, 5-10 centimeters longer than they actually are here. When I first bought this dress, the straps were quite considerably long, and it wasn't a good look for me, so I took it up by about, as I said, 4-5 centimeters, 5 to 10 centimeters. I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, probably about, I don't know, 5 centimeters. and I just want to redo the stitching now that I have a sewing machine. It's very roughly hand tacked. You definitely won't be able to see on this camera, but it's just a bit messy looking. So I'm going to unpick it and then just resew it using a sewing machine, so it's just a little bit prettier looking on the inside, and just neaten it up a bit, because I did that repair job. How long have I had this dress? 6 years ago? No, probably more like 5 years ago. So I'm just going to do a bit of a repair on that. I'm also going to fix the internal seam on this dress. Is a little bit odd, so I'm going to just straighten it out and maybe do a couple of security stitches so that it doesn't pop up quite so much. It's not awful, it just, I think, can be neatened up a little bit. So while I'm here, I might as well do it all in one go. There we go. See you on the other side of the time lapse. Okay, so I finished the straps. What I've done is I've done a little square onto the seam. Again, you probably can't see it on this camera. There's a little square of stitches that goes all the way around where the strap attaches. The strap comes in, and in order to really fold it down, it goes fold there, and I've just gone around the fold with my machine. And I've done a super tiny row of stitches that attaches this inside seam to the outside of the fabric, so you definitely can't see it on this machine because it's super subtle. It's just this tiny little row of stitches there, so it hopefully won't show up. And it's just to keep the seam at the front pinned down, and so yeah, now it just looks a little bit straighter, a little bit neater. It's like less bulging at the top there, and it's definitely a lot more secure. The stitching was starting to come loose, so it's good that I've done it properly with the machine. So that's 3 things done. I think we're making good progress. Okay, last thing for today is it's another skirt. In fact, it's very similar in theory to my first skirt. It's taking in the hips. So this one's a hip skirt, as it's quite big and wider. And it was a custom from my sister that I always loved. And so when I first got cast off, I took it in and did pretty much the same thing that I did earlier. And I created, you can see the fold there, it's like a zigzag fold. Not a zigzag fold, like a corner fold, it's diagonal, in order to take it in. So the highest point where my hips would be is the smallest part, which is okay, but A, it's hand sewn and side come apart. B, you definitely probably can't see it on this camera again. There's 2 sets of stitches there. I've taken it in twice. Once I obviously didn't do it enough, and the other time it wasn't so good. The other problem with this one is that in order to try and keep as much fluffiness as possible, I did it on the diagonal, as I said. And the diagonal is a bad idea because the whole point of a waist or hip band is meant to rest flat. It's meant to be secure along that line, so it's 2 straight lines, because that's how your hips kind of are, or your waist kind of is. It's straight down. While doing it like that makes everything kind of hang weirdly. It makes everything look a bit odd. Like if that's my waist, then it does that to the fabric, and then you just get this weird bunch of fabric at the end, and it's just kind of a messy job. It's poorly done. I did it a long time ago before I really knew the basics of sewing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide that I can probably live without this. It's quite a lot. It's from here to there, it's about 6-7 centimeters of just waist stuff. So by the time you get to the flare of the skirt, that's probably going up to about maybe 20 centimeters worth, or 10 centimeters worth. I'm bad with my estimates today, but that's a lot of fabric that I need to kind of get rid of. So what I'm going to do is basically do what I did earlier, obviously take it in by quite a lot more, and then pin it into the back of the fabric. So I will lose a reasonable amount of the fabric from the skirt, which is one of the reasons why I did the diagonal in the first place, was to keep as much of the fluffy factor as much as possible, but it doesn't work. It's still too big, and I think it would feel like much more of a complete garment if I actually just do a straight line straight through. As I said, I'm still going to use large stitching, so it can be undone if I do then decide to pass it on to someone else in the long run. but right now, like, I can't really wear it because it's still too big. It falls off. Well, it doesn't quite fall off. It slips down unnecessarily, and it just doesn't feel right. So I'm going to try and make it feel better, look slightly better, and fit. So I'm going to probably, the highest bit of the stitch actually goes in there. I'm going to take it in by another inch or two. So I'm going to take it into there. I'm just going to do a straight line. But this is also, as you can tell, there is a petticoat. So it's double layers. So it's going to be quite complicated, but we'll see how it goes. And if I get this right, then I can say I've had a successful day of actually repairing things. And by day, I mean about 42 minutes. But there we go. Time lapse makes all the difference. Anyway, I will see you on the other side of this particular time lapse, and then I will wrap up the video because I'm sure you're all pretty bored by now. That was pretty quick and easy. I'm going to just quickly try it on and we'll see what we look like. Okay, so now it rests on my hips. Yay! It's not the neatest job I've ever done, but it serves the purpose. You wouldn't really know it's got an overlap there. It's just a little bit fluffier on the side, which is okay. It looks a bit like a crossover skirt. And it's plenty fluffy and it just feels and fits a lot better. So yay! There we go. So a lot of progress made actually today. So woo! Thank you all for inspiring me to actually do the jobs that I need to do, and all of those sort of things. And yeah, I'll see you guys all next week. I've got probably maybe 1 or 2 more repair videos to do for you guys. It's actually really like useful for me to have a crafting channel, so I actually feel like I need to just get this done, and I'm actually making things and doing things. So thank you all so much for watching and inspiring me to actually keep up with the repairs so I can do creative things in the long run once I've done the basics. So I've got probably 2 more videos. I'm going to probably do some more taking in. I need to do some alterations in terms of I've got a skirt and a dress that need elastic redoing, and I also have some buttons that I need to replace. So those will probably be up in the next few weeks, and yeah. I hope you guys weren't too bored, and I'll see you guys all next week for another Crafting Sunday video. Yeah. Bye guys.